Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey, and today we're going to work on the Wrapped in Waves crochet blanket shawl. This is using Kroy Sock FX yarn. So let me tell you a little bit about the yarn, and then we're going to dive heavily into this project today. So before we really get started, this is an intermediate pattern. We have all the instructions just like you see here within 2 pages, and you're going to notice that it takes 21 balls of the Kroy Socks FX. So this is not the FX brand because the FX is a little more subtle, just like you see within the model here. This is another Kroy Sock version here. The colors are quite playful and really transition to different colors, and I'll have a sample done to show you that as well, just a miniature sample. So it requires 21 balls of this, and it requires a really small crochet hook, a size D, a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. So this is a sock yarn, and the reason why you would want to do a shawl or a blanket with this is that it's really quite fine. So for those that like the finer things in life with a really nice fine yarn, is that this yarn really does make up a really beautiful particular project, and it's nice and lightweight, but it's also very durable because it is sock yarn. So just because it says socks doesn't mean it has to be for socks. And of course we have another wrap or shawl from the past where we've done it with this, and it turns out exquisitely. So I know what you're thinking is that some of you cannot afford 21 balls of Kroy sock yarn. Hey, I totally understand that, but I have another version showing you in Caron Simply Soft for those that are on a tight budget that really cannot spend that kind of money. So it's nice to have options with this particular pattern, and I think that you'll really quite enjoy it at the same time. So there is a diagram provided to you, and I have broken down that diagram in a really specific format to be able to show you the repeat pattern. And today I'm going to be going through step by step, and I will be using Kroy sock yarn here on camera. Let me show you the 2 examples that I've done, one in Caron Simply Soft and one in Kroy sock yarn. So on page number 2 is this diagram. I blew it up for purposes of demonstration today, and we're going to be going through this step by step. There's a repeat rows of number 2 all the way through 7, and then it just goes 2 to 7, 2 to 7, and this is a square looking wrapper blanket. So just because you see that it kind of could be like it's a shawl and we think triangle, this indeed is actually square, and you can do a blanket with this concept too. So here's what it looks like here. This is Caron Simply Soft here using a 5mm size H crochet hook to do, and this is exactly what you see within the pattern. Okay, this particular idea is exactly what you see. This here is using Kroy socks here, and is using the recommended size crochet hook, and you see that it's much smaller because it's a thinner yarn, but it's also a smaller crochet hook. So you can see that you can switch your crochet hook out as long as that it matches. So if you really love this concept, you can do it in other brands like Caron or Bernat or even Lily Sugar and Cream and have this concept, and you can switch it out pretty easily just by changing the hook. So I don't know what the sizes would be for the amount of yarn you would need to do if you're going to do the substitution. This is just an option to show you. So you can see that it's much more narrow this way, but it's also shorter this way as well because it is a smaller idea. So that that gives you an indication of what you're going to get yourself into today. So you're thinking to yourself, what if you want to change the size of this project? I got you covered. It's all awesome. The multiples are 16 plus 3, so you go 16, 16, 16, 16, and when you're satisfied you can end and add on 3. But if you want to do it exactly what the pattern says, it's chain 291, and I know what you're thinking, 291, that's a big number. You got a small crochet hook and thin yarn, so therefore you need more chains in order to compensate it. So if you're going to adjust it with using Caron Simply Soft or even Bernat Super Value or anything, those kind of yarns, just make sure you chain in multiples of 16 and then add 3 at the end. So on page number 2 there is a diagram, and the diagram I'm showing you, I just did a screenshot and I just blew it up just for demonstration purposes, but it's exactly the same thing. So you can see here that it is a wave format, and all you just got to look for is that it really is amazing. So it goes up and down, and then we have these beautiful bobbles that are going on here. Those are trebles that we're going to do, and then we just return back to the regular format, and then we just change. So you'll notice that the bobbles appear here in this line, and then in here it'll appear here. So the repeat pattern is from 2 all the way to 7. Once you get to 7, then you repeat 2 to 7 again and again and again. So let's take a look at the pattern itself, and let's just start breaking this down step by step, and let me tell you a little bit about it, and then we're going to go through it in each section. So this is a very comprehensive tutorial today. So here's a blown up version, and what we have is that we have multiples of 16, so I just labeled it out because I was trying to figure that out as well. And so the multiples are 16 plus 3. So you just have to chain and go 16. So 16 takes you to 1, 16 takes you to this one, and 16 takes you to here, and at the very end you just add 3 in order to continue up the fashion. So I just counted the number of chains in order to do that, in order to figure that out. So once we get past row number 1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you back to this chart each and every time we start doing this, and so we'll cover it as we go because it's just easier to do it that way. So we'll show you, we'll do it, and then we'll move on together, and then you can just reverse the video at your leisure in order to repeat all the way from 2 to 7. So without further ado, let's grab our crochet hook. You can either use Croy or another brand of yarn like Caron or Bernat or Lily Sugar and Cream, and you can just adjust the crochet hook to match the yarn in order to make it work. So let's begin in starting our chain. So let's begin by starting a slip knot, and I need you to either chain, you can chain what is recommended in the pattern, or you can just do multiples of 16 and then add 3, and I've already talked about that a couple times already. So if you want to do this, it's chain 291, exactly what you see, and then you can just do that. For my tutorial, I'm just going to do 3 sets of 16 and then add 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So what you have to just decide then is that once you get 16 done, is it big enough, yes or no? If not, just carry on and continue to do multiples of 16 or just chain the number in order to get to the pattern. So I think it was 291. So continue that, and I'll see you at the end of this chain, and we'll review once again. So I'm back, and now I have 16, 16, and 16, 3 16s in a row, and then when I'm satisfied with it, I'll just add another 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and that'll bring my chain back in balance. So let me bring back the diagram. Let's review row number 1 together. So here's the diagram once again, and so you've done your chains of 16s, or you've done exactly what it told you to do, the 291, and then what you're going to do now is that we're going to work our way across. So we're going to go 4th chain from the hook, and then we're going to put a double crochet in here. So this 4th chain and this one acts as 2 together. Okay, I won't get too technical with you right now, but that's what those are going to do, and we'll cover that later on because that's going to appear again in the future. So the next 6 will be by itself. So you see that they're in the chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are sitting by themselves, and then on the 7th one we're going to put 3 in a row, and this will allow it to then start bending the project and then coming down. So after you get your 3 in a row, there will be another 6 going down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so those will be standing by themselves. The next one is a 2 together double crochet. So you're going to put this one right here, you're going to skip one, and you're going to put the next one together, so it's just 1 stitch, and then I guess the next 6 are going to go by themselves, and then you got the top of the valley again. So I'm going to call these the top of the hill. I'll call these the valley just to make it easier for you. And then we got 6 going down into the valley, and then you're going to bring those 2 together again, making sure you skip one, and then you're going to go up to the top of the hill again, and then you're going to put in your 3 on the top and then come down the valley. And at the very end you see that there's 2 double crochets that will be by themselves. You don't skip one like you would have here. So you don't worry about that on the edge. So this, how it's 2 together here, is kind of the same way that you did over here when you went to go get started. So let's just do this in real format, and let's begin row number 1. So we're going to count back 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and turn it over in the 4th one and get the back hump of that, and I want you to double crochet. Once you do the back hump of the first one, the chain will stay turned upside down, and you will have the most beautiful starting ever. Okay, so you had the chain that you just skipped over, and then the first one is in. So we're going to go up the top of the hill. So the next 6 will be 1 single crochet by itself. So let's just continue to move along in the chain. So I'm going to count those out. So 1 and 2. This is 3. My apologies. This is 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you have 6 that are standing by themselves. So the 7th one is the top of the hill. So on the top of the hill I want you to put in just 3 double crochets into the same stitch, and that allows you to be at the top of the hill and start to bend over to go down to the valley once again. So now we're gonna start going down the hill. So we're gonna come up to the next chain available to you, and the next 6 will be by themselves. So we have 1 and 2 and 3, and this is 4, 5 and 6. So they're standing by themselves. So we're at the bottom of the valley now. So we have to make room for the river that is in the middle of the valley. And I'm just telling a little story to make it easier for you to remember. So the next one is going to be 2 together, and then we're gonna just start it. So we're gonna wrap the hook going into the next chain, and you're gonna go in, wrap and pull through, and then pull through 2 and hold it. Don't finish that stitch. And then I want you to skip the next one available to you and go to the second one over and wrap the hook into the second one over, going in, pulling through, pull through 2 and hold. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. So you have a space of 1 chain that was skipped right in the middle, and you're gonna pull through all of them just like so. So now you have a skipped stitch right in the middle, a skipped chain. So let's go back up the hill. So the next 6 in a row will each be 1 double crochet by itself. So 1 and 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5 and 6. And you're at the top of the hill again. So the next one available to you after you get your 6 in is just gonna be 3 double crochets in the same one. So 1, 2 and 3, and now you're gonna start going down the hill. So I'll show you going down one more time. So we're gonna go down. So the next 6 will be 1 double crochet by itself. So you got 1 and 2, and we got 3 coming up, 3, this is 4, this is 5 and 6. And so now we're at the bottom of the valley again. So remember what we have to do. So we double crochet into the next one, but we don't finish it. It's gonna be 2 together. So wrap the hook going into the next one, pull through 2 and hold it, and then skip 1 stitch or skip 1 chain and go to the second one over and begin again. So in, so wrap in and pull through 2 and hold it, and you got those 3 on there. You can see the skipped one right here. Pull through all 3 and then work your way back up the valley. So 6 on the valley, 3 at the top, and then what I'm gonna do is I'll show you how to end this. So just going up and down all the way across, and you will see that this will appear naturally of going up and down as you go all the way across. So please do that, and I'll see you at the end of this row. So as you come to the end, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna go down the final hill. So in the down of the final hill we'll have a valley once again. So after you get the 3 in the top one there, so 3 is in there, the next 6 will be by themselves. So just double crochet 6 in a row. So 1, 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5 and 6, and you'll be left with 2 chains left over. So the 2 chains that you see here is gonna be a 2 together double crochet. So wrap the hook going into the next chain, just go in and pull through 2 and hold. So this is not a typical valley where we skip 1 chain because there is no chain to skip, but we go immediately into the next chain available to you, and then we just going in, pull through 2 and hold it. And so you got 3 loops on the hook, pull through all 3, and that's the end of the row. So you see the last 2 just came together just like you see. So we're gonna turn our work and then we're gonna put this aside and bring you back to the diagram and we're gonna review the next row. So as we begin row number 2, it's right here. So we've just started on the chain, okay, and then we came all the way back across, and so we're now back over here. So we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna just put 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way across. There's no worrying about putting anything in the valleys or on the top of the hills. It's all just 1 single crochet each. And so you will see that this row 2 and you will see this row again in 5 just like so are just single crochets all the way across, and so really 2 and 5 is a mental break of just a single crocheting all the way across. And if you look at the sample that I did before, see this row here, this one with the lighter line, that's just single crochet across. So I never really had to think about it, I just went across. So right now where we're going right now is that there's gonna be a single crochet right on top of this as we've gone across. So let's begin to do row number 2, and this is the start of the repeat pattern of rows number 2 through 7. So let's begin row number 2. You're gonna chain up 1 and then you're just gonna put a single crochet into the same one here, and you're just gonna put in 1 single crochet into each stitch going all the way across. I'm not counting, I'm just putting in 1 single crochet into each as you're going, and as you go over top of the valleys or over the top of the hills, you'll have 3 to put in there, which is just 1 into each, and then the bottom of the valleys you just carry on. So it's 1 single crochet into each stitch going all the way across, and I'll see you at the end of this row. This is row number 2. As you come all the way back across, remember that this one on the very end, okay, there was a turning chain and a double crochet. That was considered a 2 together double crochet, and I talked about that when we were there. So don't put in a single crochet and then another single crochet in the turning chain. This is counting as 1 stitch. So just put in there in the very next one, this is a single crochet only, and leave that turning chain alone because it's considered as 2 together. This is where most new crocheters go wrong, by adding or subtracting stitches. So let's turn our work, let's put it aside, and let's bring back the diagram and move up to row number 3. So let's move on to row number 3. Row number 3 is pretty easy. I have to tell you, it's actually not a big deal as we're going all the way across. So what I want to show you here is that we're going to chain up 4 here, and then we're going to do a treble that comes down into the same one, and that's gonna count as 2 together trebles that are together. We're going to chain 2, and then this is called a bobble, and we're gonna put 3 trebles together as if they're 1 into the same stitch, and then we're gonna chain 4. So the nice thing about this is that when you're going all the way across, this one here, which is the next one, okay, all the way to the next one that you will run into, which is the middle, there will be 8 stitches to jump over. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it just goes into the 8th one. So then what happens is that you're gonna put a single crochet, and then you're gonna chain 4, and you're gonna skip over the next 8. So count this one here, okay, this one right here, all the way to the middle one right here is the 8th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so that's 8. Okay, and I've labeled that up here on this row here just to give you an indication. So really your secret number is 8 when you're working on this. You're going to put in a bobble, chain 2, another bobble, chain 2, and another bobble, all into the same stitch, and then chain 4, and then you're going to skip how many? It's going to be this one all the way to this one here is going to be 8 again. So we're gonna do that all the way across. Let me get you started and let's do this. This is row number 3. So let's begin row number 3 together. We're gonna chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to come into the very same one that you started with, and you're going to treble. So just wrap the hook twice, and then going into the same stitch, push through, and then pull through. You will have 4 loops left on your hook. Wrap the hook and pull through 2, wrap the hook and pull through 2, and then wrap the hook and pull through another 2. So that's really kind of a half of a bobble. So now we're going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and then we're gonna come into the same one again, and we're gonna do the full bobble. So how you do that is that you wrap the hook twice, and going into the same stitch, you pull through 2 and 2, and hold the remaining. So you'll have 2 loops left on the hook. So you're gonna do that again. So wrap the hook twice, going into the same stitch, push through, pull through, and then pull through 2 and 2 and hold. So now you have what appears to be 2 stitches on the hold, and that's exactly what you see, and we're gonna do it one more time. So wrap twice, same stitch, pull through 2 and 2 like that. And so now you have 4 loops on the hook. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and so just pull through all 4 loops, and that is the full bobble that you see. So now we're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So back down here on the line we need to count 8 stitches. So starting in the next one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and pinch it so that you can find it, and then just going into that one that you're pinching, you're going to single crochet. So let's get ready for the next bobble, and I'm gonna show you a little bit of a secret. So you're gonna chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is what I would do. Okay, so watch this. Wrap that hook twice before you start counting, because then that hook is ready for you to do it without you having to fumble around with this finger over here. So let's count over to the 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So right where I'm pinching is the 8th, and the hook is already wrapped, ready to go. So just insert in, pull through 2 and 2 and hold it. So you're making those bobbles. Wrap the hook again twice, same stitch, pull through 2 and 2 and hold it, and do it again, same stitch, pull through 2 and 2, and now you got the 4 loops on the hook. So now just wrap and pull through all 4. So that was one bobble of 3. So you chain 2 and you do the bobbling again into the same stitch. So wrap the hook twice, same stitch, pull through 2 and 2 and hold, wrap twice, same stitch, pull through 2 and 2 and hold, and do it again. These bobbles are really no big deal. And then you got your 4 loops back on the hook, pull through all 4, and then do the bobble one more time. So chain 2 first, and then the bobble again. So wrap twice, in, pull through 2 and 2 and hold, wrap twice, pull through 2 and 2 and hold, and wrap twice, pull through 2 and 2 and hold. So now you got your 4 loops again, pull through all 4. So now you're going to begin, and you got your 3 in a row. So now we're gonna start stretching over to somewhere over here. So we're gonna chain 4 before we do that, and now you're gonna count 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So pinch it so you know where to go, and this is just a single crochet this time. So in between the bobbles are chaining 4 with a single crochet that separates them. So let's get ready, and we're gonna cover the bobbles again one more time, and we're gonna do exactly what you see here. So chain 4 to start. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Wrap the hook twice to get it ready, and then you're gonna count to the 8. So go to the next one and start counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Right where I'm pinching is right where I wanna go, and then we're gonna bobble and do it again and again. Just like that. Pull through all 4 loops, chain 2 that separates the bobbles, and bobble again, same stitch. So once you count that 8 over, basically there's no counting left until you pretty much get all that section done. So you got 4 loops on the hook again, pull through all 4, and then chain 2 and bobble one last time so that there's 3 in the same one. So you're just not finishing your stitch to make these bobbles. So you got your 4 loops again, and you're done. So you're going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're gonna come back down here and count to the next 8. So start the next one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, right where I'm pinching. It's gonna be a single crochet, and you're gonna do that all the way across. That's what that looks like. So then once you get to the very end, you're going to chain 4. Okay, so you got chain 4, and then you can either count it, but it will definitely be 8 if your count is right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, which is the final one, and you're going to start your bobbles. So you got to do 1 full bobble first. Sorry, that was not a bobble, that was the double crochet. So let me try that again. So wrap that hook twice, See, that's what happens if you don't prep yourself before you do the counting. You screw up. And we've got this bobble completely done. Pull through all 4 loops, chain 2, and now the very final one here, there's only going to be 2 in the same one. So going in the same one, so wrap twice, going through and wrap it again like so. So there's only 2 strands here instead of 3. So there's 2 posts and not 3. Pull through all 3 loops for the final, and then that's it for finishing round or row number 3. So let's turn our work and let's begin row number 4. So in row number 4 we're gonna come back here, and row number 4 we're gonna start up here. We're gonna chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, and we're gonna put a double crochet into the same one. So you will notice that there is 2 double crochets that are in between each of the bobbles. So whenever you see there's bobbles that separate each other, there's always 2. Do you see that? And then what you're going to do is that there's going to be 2 double crochets into that space, and then you're going to have a double crochet right on top of the bobble itself, and then the next 3, and I put them with a kind of a purple marker around it, so the next 3 are by themselves, and so the next one shares both sides of this. So this is a 2 together double crochet, and then the next 3 are by themselves, and then you're at the top of the bobble for again, you're in between the bobbles, so you can go in between, and then the one at the top of the middle of the bobbles are always going to be 3. So if you can see this formation going up and down, so here's a choice for you. What I did, you will notice that each of the double crochets point to a specific chain. You can do that if you wish, but here what I did is that I just went into an actual chain space itself. And so what this does is it kind of gives a little bit of a different look to it, but it's kind of a lazy way of doing it. I won't deny that. But what I've done is that when I started off is that I put in my 2 double crochets right in the middle, so that it was chain 3 double crochet, and then in the space I put a double crochet right into the space itself, and I put in a double crochet right on top of the one here, and then these 3 are right into the space, and then the next one is sharing. It's a 2 double crochet. So you can decide if you want to go into the chain or if you want to go into a chain space. That's completely up to you. I would do chain space because I'm lazy, but it works out to look good either way. So you can decide to do it either way. So let's begin this row number 4. So let's begin row number 4. So we're gonna chain up 3, counts as a double crochet, and you're gonna double crochet into the same stitch. Okay, so that considers 2 double crochets into the same one. So as I told you, you can either go into a chain itself or you can go to the chain space. So the next 2 in a row are going to be a double crochet, and I'm just gonna put it around the chain space. So I went right into the space itself, not to the actual chain. So here's what you have to watch for. These bobbles make it appear that there's 2 stitches on top of each other. That's incorrect. So what's happening here is that this, do you see how it's joining here? That all of these are linked into this one and not to this section right here, right where I'm pointing. This is the stitch right here, not here. This is a nothing right here. Okay, so make sure you don't put anything extra there. So you're gonna put in 1 double crochet right on top of the bobble. And then you're going to advance to the chain 4 space. So the next 3 in the chain 4 space is gonna be 1 double crochet by itself. Just go right around the chain. Just easier if you want to, or go into a chain if you want to do it that way. And so 3 are by themselves. So the next one is going to be in this side and this side, and it's going to be a 2 together double crochet. So wrap the hook going into the chain 4 space, pull through 2 and hold, and then wrap the hook again and come to this side of the chain, pull through 2 and hold, and now you can put all 3 of those loops together. So just pull through. So you can see that stitch just went on both sides of the actual work. So the next 3 are by themselves. So 1, 2, and 3. And then the next one's in the top of the bobble. So just identify which one it is. It's right here. It's not this one. That is a nothing. So you just double crochet right into the top of the bobble. And then in the chain 2 space here, just put in 2 double crochets. And you're considered at the top of the valley at this point. So what you want to just do is that this middle one here, the top of the bobble, okay, you're gonna put in 3 double crochets. to make it allow it to do that turn. So 1, 2 and 3. So when you jumped over the space right here, okay, when you did the two together, that was considered the bottom of the valley. I didn't explain that then, but that's what that means. So we're now going to continue again. So let's carry on. So the next chain 2 space is going to have 2 double crochets in it. The next bobble right here is going to have 1, and then you're going down the valley at this point, down the hill. So you're going to put 3 double crochets by itself in the chain 4 space. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now the next one is going to be in this side and this side with the 2 together double crochet. This is the bottom of the valley. So wrap the hook first going into this side, pull through 2 and hold. Wrap the hook going on to the other side, pull through 2 and hold, and then pull through all 3. So let's go up the hill and we're going to put 3 double crochets by itself. So 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to hit our first bobble. So we're going to just double crochet in the bobble, top of the bobble, and then the chain 2 space is next, and you're at the top of the hill now. So what do you have to do? You have to put in your 3 double crochets right into the same bobble right in the top. So 1, 2 and 3, and you carry along the whole row doing this formation. Okay, so you can really see it starting to turn out. So let's go down the hill once again. So the next chain 2 space is going to have 2 double crochets. Okay, the next bobble is going to have just 1, and then you have the chain 4 space. So 3 double crochets first in a row by itself. So this is number 2 and 3, and so the next one is going to go this side and this side with the 2 together double crochet. So wrap going in, pull through 2, and then wrap going into this side, pull through 2, and then pull through all 3 loops. So you're coming to the end of the row. Eventually you will on your own, and there'll be 3 double crochets by itself. And then one at the top of the bobble, and then the next chain 2 space is going to have 2 double crochets, and at the top of this final bobble that is only a partial, there's going to be 2 double crochets into that one. So 1 and 2. Okay, so that was row number 4. So you can see that it's brought it into balance, and it's really quite neat. So let's bring back the diagram. Let's do row number 5, which is an easy round or easy row. So we've now gone all the way across now for row number 4. So we started here and we went down and up, and you can see how we followed along, and now it's number 5. 5 is the same as number 2. So we chain up 1, and then it's just 1 single crochet into each stitch going all the way across. Nothing special on the tops or the bottoms of the valleys or the hills. So 1 single crochet into each for row number 5. Let's do that now. So row number 5, nice and easy, just chain up 1, and then it's just going to be 1 single crochet into each stitch going all the way across. Nothing to worry about, no counting at all. So you've got a break on this row, and it's just 1 single crochet into each going all the way across. Do this and I'll see you at the end of this row. Okay, when you get all the way across, just make sure you go 1 into each stitch all the way, and because this is at the top of the valley, just make sure that you do put in a single crochet in that turning chain. Okay, so it's only when you're appearing to go into the bottom of a valley, then, so this is the top of the hill, only when in the valley there's going to be 2 together. So in this one here you put 1 single crochet into every stitch. Let's turn our work and let's begin row number 6 together. Let's bring back the diagram. So let's begin row number 6. So number 6 is going to chain up 1, and we're going to start with a single crochet first and then chain 4 and then do our bobble work. So again, like we had before, see how we did over 8? We skipped over it. We're doing the same thing, but this time what we're doing is we're shifting. So instead of the bobbles being where they are right now, this time it's going to be in between, so it's going to fill in those spaces. So when I have my other example here, you'll see that there's a bobble here and then it appears shifted over in order to give the really cool look that it has. So we're going to be starting at a different point, and that's why there's a repeat of rows number 2 through 7, is that it gives us enough information that we can repeat it. So now after you get 2 to 7 again, you'll repeat it again, and then these bobbles here will appear back where they should, which is right here, here, and on the end. So let's begin row number 6, and we're just going to chain 4. We're going to do our bobbles over, and again it's a matter of counting 8. You kind of already know what you're doing. You're just starting at a different spot within the row. So let's begin row number 6. So let's begin row number 6. You're going to chain up 1, and then it's 1 single crochet into the same one. So now we're going to start working. So let's chain our 4 first. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And remember what I told you before, so after you get your 4, wrap the hook twice to get it ready, because you're going to count. So the next 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so you'll see that the 8th is right over top of the other valley that's already there, so that it gives you an indication you're correct as well. And you're going to do your bobbles. Okay, so don't finish the stitch all the way, just wrap twice. You already know what you're doing with this stuff, and just create your bobbles. And then pull through all 4 loops, chain 2, and then bobbling again. Okay, and you just don't want to finish your stitches. You want to gather them to create the bobble looks that you see. And then pull through all 4 loops, and then chain 2 again. That separates the bobbles, and do one last time. So there's always going to be 3 into the ones that are not directly on the edges of a project. So after you get that done, chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now you're going to look back down to the line and count 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you are going to single crochet. Okay, you will notice that that is in the middle one of this group of 3 that's right on the top of the valley, or top of the hill over here. So let's begin to do that again. So chain 4, and then wrap the hook twice to hold it, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then that's where you begin your bobble. I finished it too fast, so gotta make sure I leave it on the hook, and then I bring it all together. So do that, and then chain 2, bobble again, like that, and chain 2, and bobble one more time. So you already know what you're doing if you've already done the row below. It's just a matter of shifting. So I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera as I work across. So once you get that final bobble done, chain 4, and then count 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And go in there for a single crochet, and just carry on in that fashion, going all the way across, and you'll see that the bobbles are going right directly in the middle of where the other 2 are, just like you see. So please do that all the way across for row number 6, and then we're going to cover the final row, which is number 7, which is part of the repeat pattern. When you come to the end of the row, you will have the bobble in, and then you're just going to chain your 4, and then you can either count it, but the very last stitch is in fact your single crochet. If you count it, it should be 8 as well. So now you're going to turn your work, and then we're going to hold, and let's go back to the diagram for one last time for row number 7. So row number 7 is a repeat of row number 4. So you can see that the double crochets came back into play. So it's just like you had before. You had 3 single or double crochets that are by themselves, and that they're separating alone, and you have 1 at the top of each side of the bobbles. You got 2 in the chain 2 spaces, and then 3 at the middle bobble, just like you see. So you're going up and down, just what you already know. So when you go to chain 3 at this point, is that the next one into the space is going to be 2 together, so it counts as a 2 together double crochet, and you're going to work your way up. As you get to the other side, what we're going to do is that the final 2 is going to be 2 together, and 1's in the space and 1's in the final stitch in order to do that. So let's begin again to do row number 7, which is a repeat of row number 4. So let's begin row number 7. We're going to chain up 3, and then in the same stitch, or sorry, in the next chain 1 space or chain 4 space, you're going to double crochet. So that's considered as 2 together even though you don't think it is. That's what it is, I'm telling you. Okay, so the next 3 in a row are going to be 3 double crochets into that same chain 4 space, just sitting by themselves. And then the first bobble here is going to be 1 double crochet into the top of the bobble. The next chain 2 space is going to be 2 double crochets into that one. And then the next bobble, which is the middle one of the 3, will have 3 double crochets into the same stitch. So that allows that to give the bending motion of the waves. So let's continue to move along. So you got the chain 2 space next, and it's going to be 2 double crochets into the same one, same space. And then the next bobble here, there's going to be 1 into there. So the chain 4 space, there's going to be starting with 3 by itself, double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And then this space and this space are going to be joined together. So you're going to do 2 together double crochet. So wrap the hook, go into this side, pull through 2 and hold it, and then come to the other side, wrap, pull through 2 and hold it, and then pull through all 3 loops, and you can see that you just joined the 2 sides together. And the next 3 are going to be double crochets by themselves. Okay, so the next top of the bobble is going to be 1 double crochet. You got a chain 2 space here, fill it in, 2 double crochets, and now you're in the middle bobble of the 3, the group of 3, so there's going to be 3 double crochets into that one. So 1, 2, and 3. And then go down the hill. So the next chain 2 space is going to be 2 double crochets. Top of the next bobble is just going to be 1 double crochet. And then you have that big chain, sorry, just got to redo that one. You have that big chain 4 space next. Okay, so you're going to go down the valley, you're going to go down, so you're going to put in 3 double crochets first. So 1, 2, and 3, and then the next one is going to join this side and this side together. So wrap it, going into the same space, pull through 2 and hold, wrap it, going into the next, pull through 2 and hold, and then just pull through all 3 loops. So going up the hill, 3 in a row. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1 into the top of the next bobble, 2 into the next chain 2 space, and then you're at the top of the hill again. So then you're going to put 3 in the top of that one. 1, 2, and 3, and then coming down. So the next chain 2 space. So you're just going to go up and down in that fashion, going all the way across for row number 7. And you're just going to finish off just nice and easily, just the way that you'd started. So remember that when we go to do this, there's going to be 3 coming down the top of the hill. So 1. Okay, and so the 4th one is going to be into this space and to the chain, or sorry, to the single crochet. So wrap, pull through 2 and hold it, and then wrap and going into the chain single crochet, pull through 2 and hold it, and then pull through all 3 loops, and that's how you finish off. So this was rows number 2 all the way through 7. So it was 1 all the way through 7. You're going to go back to row number 2, which will be a single crochet, and let me just bring back the chart one last time. In the edging, all it is just single crocheting, just working up the edging. So you just got to come up to the edging and just single crochet along the edge, okay, just like you see here. And it's just really quite an easy way. You don't need to go through the bottom level or the top, just on the side. So single crochet up, just evenly space it as much as you can. You do it on both sides, and then that's considered done. And there's also tassels on this that you'll see in the pattern if you wish to add those, and that's completely optional. So let's bring back the chart one last time and call this tutorial quits for today. So your job now is to repeat rows number 2 all the way to 7. So just keep on going until you get to the length that you would like to do. The total length in the pattern, it says that it's 55 inches. So it's 55 inches from one side all the way to the other, just like you see. The width that you had there is what was determined by the actual chain count of 291, and if you changed it like I did with multiples of 16 plus 3, that's what you'll have. So you just have to, once you get that done, you just have to equally space a single crochet row along the sides. It just cleans up the sides a little bit. It's just nothing really too spectacular, so if you wish to skip it, that's kind of up to you. But of course the creativity remains in your hands at this point. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Yarn Inspirations as well as thecrochetcrowd.com. We'll see you again real soon, and good luck on your amazing new Waves crochet shawl. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.